Well, what do you know? Jerome Hughes is back and the Storm are back. It really unlocked Munster in this game. Obviously, the Steel King with the 4 turnover tackles. 92 points for Cammy was incredible, and he's scored well all year and has been an incredible player for those very small percentage of 6.5 that have him. So well done to Munster. The real interesting one for me is this Ruben Garrick score of 62. So if you're watching this game, you don't really see him involved enough, unless you're watching him super closely, to be like, wow, he just got picked up a 62. Like, it just involved the 1 try assist. Obviously, there's a try saver, but he's got the 4 tackle breaks, 3 offloads, and over 200 meters gain. And this is what he was doing in games at fullback. The biggest thing for me there was the fact that they got beat pretty comfortably in this game. The Storm was still a little bit sloppy, but really they got beat pretty comfortably, and he still managed to get 62. And he's priced. Well, he will be priced around the early 40 marks, which is where he's at currently in his average. And just becomes a really interesting option, whether you've got him, you've got Jaden Campbell, you've got a bunch of guys in that wing fullback position that could cover the likes of Hines and Teddy and that kind of that kind of player in your back three. So Garrick, a very interesting opportunity for him over the next bunch of weeks. And we see Kenny Bromwich with 60, Olakuatu with 48. A couple of lighter games for him in a row. He is priced at the 50 mark, so scoring fairly close to where we expect him to there. DCE with the 45, and this is the one that I'm going to see a lot of people look to trade him out this week, and you can understand why, but I can also make the argument that he's averaging 60 for the year, and there's not many people doing that. So DCE, I'd be looking to make a very clear decision. Are you going to be trading him out and never bring him back in? Because he is the second best half. So that's something that I would think about deeply before I make that decision to move on DCE. So that 45, yes, it's a lower score. I can see people like, nah, he's out next week. The chance he doesn't back up. He is someone that usually does back up after Origin, for example. But DCE, something to think about there. Just be aware of this video when you're looking to trade him out. Krogo 45, Kevin Kamika, so he's back. Obviously, third week back now, and some decent scores, this being his best one, the 45 points. So solid for him without being spectacular. He's just at an awkward price to think about picking up in 14, 15, 16. Nick Meaney with 43. For those that picked him up, you'll take that score for sure. It's above where he's priced at, and he actually played pretty well. I'm happy with that. He had a nice little try assist to Bromwich. Not that they kind of just a bit of a defensive lapse, but a nice run from Kenny. Foreign with 39. Sipley there with a decent score and some decent minutes. Lioro's been getting some decent scores off the bench recently. Tupulotu, if you have him, at another little price bump there with a nice try for him. It's going to be someone that you look to move on, maybe 14, 15, 16. Gola, if you played him, our people squad decided not to this week, given they're up against the Storm, and he had a pretty solid game, the try saver, and also the turnover tackle to go along with his 20 tackles and 100 meters gain. So he was solid. And if you played him, great. If you're not playing him, you still get a bit of a price bump, which is always ideal. All right, the second man on this list that I think everyone will be trading out is Jerome Hughes, and he is clearly their most influential and best player on the team, but he hasn't been best player for them winning, let's say. But he just hasn't been scoring well enough lately, and the couple of games off, I'm surprised that his ownership percentage is still that high. I'm glad it is, just more for the fact that I've been telling people to hold on to him, and just this game, it was solid, but the run meters weren't there as much, and obviously he's used to scoring a bunch of tries and stuff, and 48.7 for him is very, very interesting. I'm actually half tempted to pick him up in 14, 15, 16. So up to you what you want to do with him. I understand a lot of people are going to trade him out this week. That 8.8 will probably be like a 6.5 or 7 with him not playing next week, but he's going to be super important through that middle period, and I keep talking about it, and I understand why people would move him on, but it's one of those ones like we spoke about Burton as being a guy that wasn't scoring well enough, but he was doing okay enough to hold a spot or should have been holding a spot in your side, and then he come out the other side, and everyone's picking him up now heading into 13. So Hughesy will be one of those guys that will be a great pickup, I'd say 14, 15, 16, that type of thing there. So what TK was speaking about the other day, he picked up Reid Marnie there 3 weeks ago, so waited till he bottomed out and jumped on to him, whereas I was like, I can't hold on any longer. He's just destroying my side when I could have picked up Cook instead of him. So definitely an interesting one there. And Brandon Smith as well with 32, so big minutes again, 66, got a try assist, but just hardly running the ball out of dummy half there. 53 is normal for a dummy half, but not for him. and the tries aren't there, for example. So just a 32, not good enough. I'd wait till he at least scores well before I'd be picking him up. I know a bunch of people did actually, very interestingly. 10.5% owned. Kingy, all right, time to get rid of him now. 32, serviceable, but not good enough for the 531 price tag. So Kinga, very serviceable, well done. Had a great start to the year if you owned him, but yeah, time to be moved on now for sure. Walker went off with a little bit of an injury. We'll keep an eye on that. Xavier Coates with the 29, so picked up a sneaky try in there, but yeah, he needs to be moved on as well if you own him. And then looking down the line, Schuster with 49 minutes, looked okay. The blind man still no look passing every time. It's funny, the commentator's talking about it. It's like yelling at, he's blind. Of course he's no look passing. Anyway, his price is going to go down a fair bit, which is interesting. And then we've got Wishart with the 8, so he's 247. He's going to drop that price a little bit as well. And that's all. That's our first game of the week, guys. It's good to watch some footy properly again, having been away this whole time and getting back into general life. But there you go. Hope you liked these videos. Subscribe and catch you in the next one. See you, team.